over and over again. And it's like, just give some people a chance. We already know The Ring works. Let's see this movie over here.
Yeah, totally. Sean, do you have something you wanted to say?
I mean, it's it's nothing new that we haven't talked, previously about, Paul, in length. But with Greg mentioning those kind of foreign markets and filmmakers in those markets, I think you're going to start seeing now, especially with the climate changing, especially with the studio system. With AMC kind of struggling and kind of distancing themselves because the studios are forcing themselves to, release online. I think the platforms, and with more and more jumping out, HBO Max coming out, more independent filmmakers are going to have opportunities to put their quality content on these platforms, right. And that's around the world. Yeah. So what we've been saying before, Paul, me and you, is that filmmakers now, it's the perfect time to branch out and make your movies anywhere in the world because you have that creative control.
Oh, I think we lost Sean for a moment.
Getting hired to do back. Okay. So a lot of filmmakers in the past have been going to China, like as directors or, cinematographers, talent especially, and working. We just don't see that because our market is very funneled in what we're receiving as nationally in our domestic market. But I think with everything changing, filmmakers can go out and they can shoot something in Iceland or Ireland or Australia and even get a co-production going. Team up with these companies, especially in Canada. Canada is looking for a lot of content all the time. And it's not just, with Canadian filmmakers, or writers, it's with everything, because their market allows for that, that variation of genres and content of its quality. So I've been telling screenwriters even, flip the script, put your script into a different language, because in doing that, it may actually have a huge cultural value in these other markets. You never know. So
yeah, very interesting point, Sean. I know we've talked about that a lot ad nauseum, but what do you think, Sabrina? I see you smiling over there.
How you doing, everyone? Well, first of all, I just want to say that I'm so grateful for Filmocracy to create this, to bring voice to all these international movies. So thank you for that. And in going with this conversation, I'm from Brazil, and I was raised in an Italian family. So I already have I have Portugal, Italy, Austria, all backgrounds in my blood. And every time that I'm creating a project, I ask myself, is this movie something cultural, is related to ethnicity or race, or anyone can relate? So more and more, I want to see movies about human beings.
Right.
I want to see movies about stories about anyone can, relate. And then I became a producer because originally I'm based in Los Angeles. So originally I came here to be an actress, and I heard so many no's because I have an accent, because of this, because of that. And I said, you know what? The only person who can say no to me is myself, and I love what I do. So I became a producer to cast myself and to bring voice to stories, to inspiring stories that I want people to hear. And last week I launched a production company called Touch Alive Productions, and the goal is to really create a content to inspire people, to touch people's heart, to spread a positive message. And then having you guys creating this platform is phenomenal, so we can showcase that.
Yeah.
If I could also join, but you would have to mute yourself, Paul.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because I just wanted to comment because it really resonated with me what you said, Sabrina, and especially the point with showing different stories, because when we have basically big studios just doing research into what works, right? Basically, stories become more and more similar to each other. So you just have the same story just repeated for the 10th time. And the idea is, and the same thing happens, with when we have filters that we put on pictures. What happens to our faces? They are all just more and more similar to each other. And this is the opposite of what we want for Filmocracy. We want different voices and we want different stories. That's basically it.
I like what you said about Sabrina, about telling human stories, because I've always told, when people ask me about writing, and they say, well, I want to write a movie about baseball. And I'm like, you don't write a movie about baseball. People can't relate to a sport. People can relate to other people who play that sport or who like that sport, something about people in that milieu. You don't write about a thing, you write about people, because that's what other people are going to connect with. And really, once you do that, you can write about whatever you want. And as long as it's not too far removed from the culture, a person anywhere is going to figure it out. That's the great thing about horror and thriller movies, is you really don't need any kind of filter to see somebody getting chopped in half or somebody running for their life, because everybody knows what being scared is, and that's why they do so well.
Yeah. And also, my goal is to break stereotypes. What we have here is so powerful. We go into people's homes, so we need to be very conscious about what we are creating. We don't want to, especially I'm from Brazil, right? But I have this European look. So when immediately people will think, oh, someone from this place, it looks like this or behaves like that. No. Let's break all this and let's bring other layers from each culture, each country, each ethnicity. It doesn't have to
you see some movie and it's just white, and it's like, oh, what an interesting movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to tweet
exactly.
our own horn too much, but I really think right now is the perfect time. It is our party, because the stories are all there and the talent is there. You guys are already making these great films, and the problem is just the distribution. So how do we break through? That's been the golden question, and I think that we can do something about that with Filmocracy. We're kind of deviating from our originally planned schedule, but it just shows, I think, like when you start talking about films and get filmmakers all together, everyone's just like has something to say that they need to say. And I'm really appreciative that we're all here talking about these important things and sharing our stories. However, we do have regularly scheduled programming to continue with, so I'm going to shut down the presentation mode for now, and we're just going to take a quick break so people can go to the bathroom and do general mixing for like 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and have a very cool screening of a film that we are in talks to acquire, that everyone will enjoy. So thanks everyone for the talk, and see you soon.
We normally wouldn't see.
Yes.
It's all the plan. Thanks, Greg.
Groovy. Thanks a lot, guys.
Keep in touch, Greg.
Yeah, I will, man. Take it easy, Mark. Later, Jason. Sabrina.
Nice meeting you.
Bye.
Sabrina, you want to go next?
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. You mentioned about the film festival, and I work as a different film festivals, and I love that because I can watch movies from all over the world. So, I want to know more. You said at the end of the year, and it will be my pleasure to contribute somehow. And
yeah, absolutely.
You're doing like a promo to maybe we can spread the word and share.
Yeah. So basically, the plan for the film festival is to integrate Filmocracy with Remo that we're using now, so that we'll have a big map layout where you can sort of go into different buildings where different badges allow you access to certain buildings, and then certain buildings will have different programming in it, like different panels or networking or table reads, trying to get as close to the original festival experience as possible, because the way that festivals are approaching it now is very archaic. They're just kind of like either suspending it until next year or saying, here's a Vimeo link and a Zoom link, and that's it.
But I would say another thing, even before coronavirus happened, what we were discussing was how can we bring more meaningful connections and real connections to this to the film festival, right? Because it's not about just saying hi, meeting somebody, and never remembering, right? So we're trying to figure out how to bring more connections into the experience of the film
That's
festival.
interesting you saying that, because I feel like the first time I was able to, with this platform, you're able to, one person is talking, you have your attention, and then the other person is talking, on opposed to like I go to several festivals and then you have like the people are mingle, and then you talk to a lot of people and you get a business cards, and at the end of the day you don't know who you talk to. So I think this is more organized. Of course, we shouldn't lose the human side,
Of course.
but you guys are right. While we are in this current scenario, use this platform, to bring that together. I honestly, this is the first time I'm using this platform, and I was a little bit like, where do I go? Which room? How do I do this? But naturally, it happened naturally. People start popping up in the screen and start talking. So it was easy flow.
Yeah, but I would say, just a very quick comment. I would say this is something that we talk for the last 2 years. We've been talking every other day or every day, how to bring more connections to watching movies, to film festivals, but also to streaming. And I would say this is, in fact, one of our main goals, how to make it less of a solitary experience and more feeling of the community. So this is what we try to figure out all the time. If you have
The
ideas,
trivia was super fun.
to us later.
The trivia was genius, because you watch the movie, and then if this is something that happens, then people are going to be paying super attention to the movies now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're thinking of ways to integrate that more in the platform
we'll
too.
We'll see. Mark.
Yes, again, thanks a lot. I'm glad I joined. I didn't think I was going to be on this long, but it was so much fun, and you guys did such a nice job there, and the nice little movie that was a good respite. I think I like Sabrina. I'm not techie. Wasn't exactly sure, but it's pretty easy. It was pretty intuitive. Double click, join the table. I've obviously covered and been at many festivals and shows and things like Comic-Con, even, where there's over 100,000 people in a place, and they have panels all over the place where people go and talk. So I would be happy to volunteer too, if that helps, and a topic that people can come and talk to. I've done everything since 1981, from producing and shows to distributing them worldwide. So there's foreign rights, there's library rights, there's so many different rights. Things have changed a lot, like we talked about, and there's newer ways to do things. But what you guys are doing with the streaming platform, I think, is admirable. Over my head, but I'm glad I've met you, and whether we put a whole bunch of our shows or just a few or pieces, like you said, I think it's a great platform. I don't know about world premiering on it yet, but we have a couple of people interested in doing some of our shows world premieres. Some of our older shows we can re-release, Pat's re-copywriting from the 80s to now the 2020. So I'm excited to be part of this group. Everybody I met, wonderful, nice people. So if I can help any of you out, like I said, call me or write to me, email me, mark@crystalpyramid.com, or whatever I can do to help. I'm there to help.
Thank you so much, Mark. And thanks to everyone for jumping on. We're going to kick you guys off just for now, so that we can get the founders on the stage, so we can have a few words about how great we are. Hold on.
But very few.
All right. So Phil needs to turn his video on. Jasper.
Phil!
So I guess I'll just start off.
We'll be quick, right? Because let's not, bore people.
So I started this about 2 years ago by myself. Jasper was the first person that I talked to about this idea. And he had some cockamamie idea about how to get homeless people to clean up streets for money. And instead we opted to go for this instead. But it's really about community. It's really about helping the underdogs. That's something that I'm very passionate about. And helping the underdogs tell stories about underdogs is also like kind of meta and awesome. So, our team has grown from just me to almost like 20 people now. And it's just amazing because I think if we were doing some other project, I wouldn't be able to get this many people to jump on without paying them the salaries that they deserve. So, it just goes to show that it's something that people believe in and can get behind. And we're going to make this work. We're going to make this great. And we will never. There's this thing that Google says, which is "Don't be evil," and I don't think that's good enough anymore. So I hope that we can just strive to be good.
I can add. I basically my most important point I think I made with the community and trying to figure out how to build the community every single day. And it's a long road ahead. But I think another thing that you actually started mentioning is, we cannot just live doing art, right? People have to be paid for doing art, because it's so straining to have one first job, second job, and then you come back tired and you're said, okay, now you do your art, right? So the idea is how to figure out a way to actually help independent filmmakers earn money from their independent projects that are fresh, interesting, and different. So it's also what we feel is this big responsibility because a lot of people believed in us. So we are very much driven by responsibility, and also to everybody that believed in us at any point. Like, this is what I would like to say. You really should know that we feel this responsibility.
Why don't you take it away, Jesus?
Yikes. Yeah, I mean, I can't say anything better about the topics that you guys were both talking about. I love you both and the entire team that, Paul, you've led the entire charge and putting it all together. And I don't know how you've assembled such a great team, but you guys have. And I think honest, good, and fucking smart, right? I think that's what it comes down to. I'm stoked to be on the team. I'm stoked to know you guys in person and be surrounded by such a strong community. What I can say is, in addition, is I'm just also excited about the potential of finding the artists of tomorrow that are working and creating today. I think that when we talk about content glut, or there's so much out there, or there's such a big need for content, what we really lose is the actual artist. When everybody tries jumping into TV, we lose the fact that films are probably the most human form of mass communication that we have. That's something that I hold dear to my heart, and I know that everybody on the team does as well. And I think, how do you find those new artists? I'll tell you that they probably don't have Brad Pitt in their first film. They probably have nobody, right? That's the quote. Like, oh, it's nobody. Nobody wrote this. Nobody directed this. Nobody
is in their film.
Yeah, Brad Pitt is in their film. Yeah, or Pad Rit is in their film. But I mean, it's impossible for new artists. And I think cutting, it's something that is a big mission of mine personally, to find those mold breakers. And I think that this is the platform that's going to help do that. So I'm really proud to be part of the team, and so to be part of the community of all of you filmmakers as well. And let's grow. Today's day one. Somehow we already have over 7,000 users and 2,000 films, but that's a pretty good day one to me.
I just wanted to say, Kurt said the movies probably have Daniel Radcliffe in them, and that's just hilarious.
Well, yeah, that's accurate on the indie.
All right, go ahead, Phil.
I think I'm just going to jump in on some of the things that on the non-film side. A lot of people here are focused primarily on, I have art, I have a film, I want to get it out. We need people to see these things. We need to appreciate them, and I'm totally down with that. I came from a world that was not very artistic, and I really didn't really appreciate indie film or film in general or art in general. I was totally on just the tech side, the nuts and bolts, the business side of things. And so it's really exciting for me, and you guys know this, Paul, Jasper, everybody else. There's a whole bunch of technology in this world that I'm just itching to throw onto this platform. And, you know, I had a huge case of imposter syndrome for a long time. I was like, oh, we're not Google, we're not Zoom, we're not Netflix. How can we possibly create anything that could be competitive? But honestly, I had to throw that away because the creativity is there, just like with film. Exactly. It's just like creating films. Your creativity is where it's going to take you. And we really have some great technology fundamentals here that we're working on when it comes to how do you use these tools to bring people together? Why do we have film in the first place, right? Why do we have this entire engagement? It's like a community way of celebrating. How can we do that better than we've ever done that before? So I'm really excited about that side of things. I'm every day looking forward to how I can take this technology, find a way for it to benefit us as humans. Also, I'm totally ignoring Jay, who's in the background. Jay's been helping me out a lot on the server side with the IT and the files and everything. And I don't know. Nobody told you to prepare. You want to say something? Like, he's good?
Yeah.
Soldier.
Silent soldiers.
So yeah, I don't want to be on a soapbox for this entire time talking about how great Filmocracy is, but I do want to give everyone an update on our progress because the platform is coming along. A lot of the things that have happened recently you haven't really seen in front of you because it's been a lot of back-end security, making things smoother, fixing bugs and things like that. But we are releasing the commenting feature very soon, which will allow you to do written reviews. And then other users will be able to tip you based on what you wrote if they found it helpful. This is kind of a similar mechanic to Reddit's upvoting, but you cannot take away somebody's popcorn because that would be theft. So that's what's next on the horizon. However, we have a podcast that we're working on to give filmmakers a wider reach to talk about their projects and their struggles and their successes. And then a lot more interactive things from the Filmocracy Festival.
App also soonish, but not now, not yet, because also we have to kind of figure out the kinks before we build the app. We want to learn on the web app, right, as much as possible.
Yeah, once you start making apps for 45 different TVs and devices, you have to update all of their software individually. So it's kind of a mess.
Yeah, TV app. We also hear you, Carolina. You are right that it's also very important. We are aware of all of that and just really honestly trying to juggle and make it right. Make it right with the team that we have. That's incredible. But we have some, coding restraints.
And Sean, it's not on blockchain right now. That's a more longer term horizon.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's what's happening. We are always available. You can email us. We're on social media. How can us, the filmmaker, help Filmocracy? I mean, mainly it's just spreading the word.
Yeah, guys, tell people.
You guys know all of your other fellow filmmakers who are struggling, trying to get distribution, going to festivals, banging your head against the wall. So if you just spread the word and basically tell us what you need, because your feedback is really important to us and it helps us make a more, filmmaker oriented platform than something that's just purely about how much money can we make or how much, buzz can we create. And Dawn, we don't have a next event planned, but this did go very well. So.
It did. Okay. Oh my God, we're now just proclaiming, yeah, it went great. but yeah, I think we'll think about something else. Yeah.
And yes, we will be notifying filmmakers when their films will be released on the platform.
So now basically the next thing you can hang out at the tables, mingle, get to know each other. And that's the end of the scripted part of the event.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.